A 3.4 magnitude earthquake was detected in North Korea on Saturday. South Korean and Chinese officials say it's likely a natural quake, but initially it raised concerns as it was detected near a known nuclear site. Matthew Kroenig is an associate professor at Georgetown University and a senior fellow in the Brent Scowcroft Center on International Security at the Atlantic Council. He joins us now. So, Matthew, earlier this week, North Korea said it was considering testing a hydrogen bomb above the Pacific Ocean. If they were to do that, how significant would that be?
Well, that would be a pretty serious step. Essentially, what they seem to be talking about would be putting a hydrogen bomb on a missile, launching it over the Pacific Ocean, and detonating the bomb in the sky. So in the early days of the Cold War, countries used to do this, but no country's done this in decades. So it'd be a pretty significant step. The physical and environmental effects would be minimal, but it would just be another sign of escalating tensions between North Korea and the United States.
Would the White House then have no option but to respond in a more aggressive way if they were to do this?
Well, it's a great question. You know, people who think a lot about nuclear strategy like me, we think it's pretty clear that if a country conducts a nuclear attack, you have to respond in a serious way. But this is somewhere in between. It's a signal of North Korean nuclear capabilities, but it doesn't cause any physical damage. So how do you respond? There are no good options. So I suspect the Trump administration would stick to its strategy of increasing pressure on North Korea, trying to get North Korea to come to the table and discuss the nuclear program, and in the meantime having capabilities to defend ourselves and defend our allies.
We've been watching the back and forth between President Trump and Kim Jong Un, trading these personal insults and threats on total destruction. What effect do you think that's having on the situation there?
Well, I think the personal insults are really not helping. They're inflaming the situation, and they don't contribute in any way to a broader strategy. The statement to destroy North Korea, however, I do think serves a purpose. You know, this is pretty consistent with the way U.S. presidents have talked in the past. Obama said that he could destroy North Korea. Clinton said if Iran attacked the United States, we could, quote, completely obliterate it. So it's tough language, but I think the point is to deter an attack, make it clear to Kim Jong Un that the cost we could impose on him outweigh any benefits he could hope to achieve from an attack. So it's to deter the attack, not to provoke one.
Deterring an attack, we also talk about China and the role China plays with North Korea. Do you think there can be any sort of situation in dealing with North Korea without having strong action from China?
Well, we need China's help. The problem for some time has been that China, this isn't China's top priority. It's lower on the list. And so many people have been advocating for some time these secondary sanctions. And some of these secondary sanctions were just announced on Wednesday. So what this announcement on Wednesday says is the Treasury Department in the United States will essentially bypass the Chinese government and is empowered to place sanctions directly on foreign banks, including Chinese banks, doing business with North Korea. So you essentially bypass the Chinese government, work directly on the pocketbooks of these banks doing business with North Korea, and you basically force them. Would you prefer to do business with the U.S., prefer to do business with North Korea? And that's really not a choice at all. The U.S. is the largest economy on earth, so I think this can put some real pressure on North Korea.
And then there's Russia. The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov told the United Nations that this war of words should end. But he also said, and I'm quoting here, it's unacceptable to simply sit back and look at the nuclear military gambles of North Korea. What do you think it would take to actually get a diplomatic situation?
Well, it's going to be difficult. Kim Jong Un sees nuclear weapons as guaranteeing the survival of his regime. He saw what happened to other countries, Gaddafi in Libya, Saddam Hussein in Iraq, that didn't have nuclear weapons, and he thinks this is his ultimate security guarantee. So I think what it'll take is actually increasing the economic pressure enough that Kim Jong Un fears that actually staying on this course could also undermine his regime. I think we saw that something similar worked in the Iran negotiations, and that may convince Kim Jong Un to come to the table and discuss denuclearization. But it certainly won't be easy. I don't think it will happen quickly. So we need to be able to defend and deter against the nuclear threat in the meantime.